Yo, Jim,
We're
welcome to the
live.
first podcast. There we go.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you, my
live.
friend.
We're live.
I'm excited
So,
for this one.
for sure, this is crazy. So, for anybody watching this, just for a bit of context, me and Jim are friends. If you're watching this from my YouTube channel, Jim is my friend. If you're watching from Jim's YouTube channel, I'm Jim's friend. And basically, we've known each other for, I think it's 2 years now,
Oh,
3 years.
yeah, quite some
For
time.
just both scaling from the ground up. I think first time we spoke, we were both doing like less than 10K a month,
Yeah, I
and
think I was doing like 2K per month back then.
yeah, and then both of us said that we were doing double the revenue we actually were, because we needed to have that, like, or
Ego
when we
boost.
spoke to another person.
Yeah. Yeah, we
um,
went to the capital of Sweden and we worked for like a week. That was
yeah,
good.
we've gone through so much. So we found each other when we knew nothing and knew nobody in the space, pretty much. We had like one mutual connection, and that was somewhat successful in the space. At that
Yeah.
time, we saw him as a god. And then since then, for the last 2 years, we've probably taken 5 trips together. We've spent more than 3 months together in total and just scaled together.
Yeah.
So we've, been closer, less close, and so on. But overall, you've been one of the closest friends that I've had in the space. So what we're gonna
Likewise.
do from now on is record these videos. I'm saying it out loud for our own accountability. Once a week, every Sunday, we're going to be posting these podcast style talks. So we were thinking about like a way to just be able to talk about our learning lessons and what's top of mind for us and so on without feeling forced. I don't personally like making YouTube videos where you're just supposed to speak to the camera because I feel like I'm distant, but I love having conversations with friends like you.
So
So
easy.
that's why
Yeah.
we got this idea to basically just make videos where we chat with each other.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I think the first thing we gotta cover is right now I'm in Austria. I'm in the Alps and I broke my collarbone today. I need to show
Literally
this.
today,
This
5 hours ago.
Yeah, like 5 hours ago, I broke this straight from the hospital. You see, this is real. So I can't write on my on this. So I'm using Whisperflow. Affiliate link in the I'm just kidding.
If you haven't heard about Whisperflow, you need to download it.
It's
It's the
so
biggest
good.
game changer ever.
It's a text-to-speech function. So I have a shortcut. Basically, I just speak and it's really good. It's text to speech or speech to text.
Speech to text, yeah.
Yeah, speech to text. Yeah, that's why today I have this thing going on. And probably gonna have that for the next couple of podcasts. And yeah, but other than that, it's good. I mean, business is good. What
Hell
about you,
yeah.
Evan? Where are you right now?
I just want to say before we move on, it's so funny. I
Yeah.
get, me and Jim have a morning meeting just working together for like 3 hours. And then Jim says, I'm going to go snowboarding for 3 hours. And I feel like it's 2 minutes after. It was in reality like an hour after. But I felt like 2 minutes after, he sends me a text saying, I got good news, I got bad news. Good news, or what was it that you said? Bad news, I just broke my collarbone. Good, good
Good
news,
news,
I'm
we're going to
definitely.
Cyprus.
Yeah, we're definitely going to Cyprus because I can't ski in the Alps anymore. And I was just laughing my ass off for a
Yeah.
call with a team member. So that's what's going on today, huh? But yeah, let's first just catch up on what's happened over the last like
Let's
month or
do it.
so. So me and Jim, we're gonna be 100% brutally honest, no filter, radical transparency on these videos, which is
Let's
hard
go. I'm
because
ready. Yeah.
yeah,
It's hard, but let's do it.
nobody in this space speaks honestly. Everybody inflates their revenue numbers. Everybody says the best things that's going on in their business without mentioning the worst and so on. But I truly want this to be the one place where people come to us because we're not the smartest, but we're the most real. We're the people who actually share what's going on, the good and the bad. So first things first, we pretty much closed down our full business that was generating hundreds of thousands per month, huh? That's a pretty crazy move. And we moved into a new
Bold.
business model. So, pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Where do we start with that? Basically, we switched from doing a pay per appointment model where we were working with contractors that were doing anywhere from like 500,000, a million to 5 million per year. We were getting them appointments, but we were also making them covered ad spend. And we were charging anything from 5 to 15K up front. We
Basically a
totally,
marketing agency. Like
exactly. And
you're
SMMA.
service based. Yeah, service based SMMA, provide marketing, you have your call center, you call leads, and you basically do the marketing for the companies.
And Jim, what did we switch to?
Well, we switched to a pay per lead model. And yeah, what's the reason for switching? Giving up our entire businesses. switching to pay per lead. First of all, what is pay per lead? Pay per lead is basically where we cover the ad spend, we do all of the marketing under our brand, and we just sell leads. So we get clients, we get partners that are in the niches that we want to work in, and we just do marketing and we sell them leads. Typically bigger companies, companies that are already successful because they
Yeah.
have a big calling center and they have a proven sales process because they just need more leads. They don't need a marketing agency to do their ads and call their leads, and they don't need that because their cost of marketing will be too high. They won't be able to do it at scale, and they already have an in-house team. So why would they pay for an external call center when they already have and want to use their own? So we made the jump. What was Edwin? What was the? I can't even remember. What was like the dropping or the point where we decided to go into this? I can't really remember. What was it?
Yeah, I have two. I have two. I'll
Yeah.
start off by saying some of the dilemmas that made us switch was that number one of the biggest things I believe in is that if you want to do something, don't try to come up with the path on your own. Look at what already works. And we could not find a single successful company, not a billion-dollar company, not even 100 million, not even a $10 million per year company that was doing our model.
Yeah.
And that is a big sign that there's something wrong with what you're doing.
Right. It depends on what your goals are though, because if you're in the SMMA space and you want to make $100,000 a
100K a
month,
month,
dude,
100%.
it's the best model to be in.
Yeah,
It is.
100%, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. But if you want to get to what we want to get to, which is multi-millions, tens of, or hundreds of millions per year, then there
Yeah.
was nobody out there who did it, which was
Yeah.
always something that I think for both of us back of our minds, but we didn't want to confront that fact, right? We kind
Right.
of
It was like it's like the quote, you question all of your beliefs except for the
except
ones
for
you
the ones
truly
you
believe in.
truly believe.
Yeah, we were kind of in in that hole of just everyone around us was doing the same thing,
Yeah,
and we were like, yeah, stuck in that, just thinking small, to be honest. Um,
exactly.
so yeah,
And
we
I'd
decided to
say
go into paper lead. Yeah.
another big thing that made me consider it was that we are always told to go after bigger customers, right? Everybody knows that as you scale a business, you want to go after bigger and bigger customers. But just like you touched on earlier, Jim, the big customers didn't want the call center, only the small
Right.
ones did. So it was almost like, okay, we got to go after the biggest ones to scale, but the bigger ones don't want all of our service.
So
And the
we were in
big,
that middle ground. We thought that we were chasing the higher clients, but we were
yeah,
stuck in the middle, which you never want to be. Either you're the cheapest one or
yeah,
you're the most expensive. You don't want to be in that middle ground. And that's where pretty much all of the agencies are. If you're working with companies that are like 1 to 2 million on average, 2 to 5 million on average, I would say you're working with the middle. That is the middle.
yeah,
The lowest is like the people below 500K. The highest, we're talking like hundreds of millions per month, or sorry, not per month, maybe per year, and maybe like 50 million per year, 20, 30 million per year is still like up there. And you're just stuck in the middle ground dealing with people that are, yeah, in the middle, which you don't want to do.
100%. And on that side, I would say what was the biggest turning point for me, actually, it's funny to say, but it was a freaking Facebook ad. I was doing media buying. I
Oh,
accidentally click on, when you want to like open your own ad at the preview and then you open up Facebook. And then I see this ad on the top right that says, if you run an agency, you're stupid. Just charge per lead. Haha, lol. Something like that. And I'm like, what is this? And it was like a cartoon character. So I click on it. I've never clicked on a Facebook ad in my life before. I'm just random. And I click on it for the first time ever. And I start reading, and it's this long sales page from this guy called Jacob. And Jacob, you're getting some free leads from this. We never end up signing or buying from this guy. But basically, he runs a course on how to start a pay per lead agency. And the first guy that I see on the testimonials page is Hunter Seroy, which is a personal friend of mine, somebody we've known about for like probably 2 years, who used to run a marketing agency like ours, pay per appointment pretty much, for 2 years, sold that, and now he's running a 800K a month business or 600K a month business. And he literally talks about how pay per lead changed his business. So I called Jim and I'm like, yo, bro, I need to tell you this. And then at the same time, he's like, bro, I have just. You said, what if Hunter sees this? That's completely fine, bro. Hunter can see this. That's not a problem. That's the truth, right?
yeah.
It's online. So Jim, literally at the same time as I call Jim and say I have this idea, he's like, "Bro, I just saw this guy called Armin who's doing 300K a month in another pay-per lead agency, and I we need to switch to this." And I'm like, "We need to switch." And then next day we switched, huh?
Yeah. Pretty
So we
insane. I
got
think I think the dropping point for me, like the real dropping point, was when HomeBuddy sold for 190 million. That was the
Yeah.
dropping point for me. I remember you sent the screenshot. It was like a Sunday, I think. And yeah, we were in we were in WhatsApp and you sent a screenshot of like HomeBuddy sold for 190 million. And I was like, yeah, we're in the wrong space.
Yeah.
We are
It,
definitely in the wrong space.
HomeBuddy is I would say probably the closest company to what we were trying to do on our B2C ads, but they were doing pay per lead. And everybody knows about them in the space, but they've not been around for that long. They're not that big. They're big, but not that big. And we see that they have 30% EBITDA, meaning profit, net profit. They sell for 190 million with like 80% cash up front, almost an all cash deal. And we're like, holy, and they sell to another competitor that we all sort of know about, Modernize, and we're like, holy shit. So like all three of those happened in the same 3 day span. So we just went all in.
We went all in, yeah. Let go team members, firing clients, pausing clients, going all in.
Hell yeah. Let's talk about where we're at right now. So transparently, no ego. Where are we at with the paper lead business? I'll start by
Yeah.
saying that I think we both have 5 live clients. I might be wrong, but I currently have 5 live clients on paper lead. That no, I actually have 4 right now. One just is short-term pause. So I got 4 live partners, 5 early this week. I currently have my paper appointment all off and running because we have 60K worth of credits there that we need to pay off. So we can't let go of that team without refunding a bunch of money. Plus, that is pretty much free money now because we have a team where I genuinely don't spend any time on it. And it's easy to say, but I feel like this week I genuinely spent less than an hour on that. So that is running on the back burner, but I'm putting all of my focus, attention, and long-term thinking on the paper lead. And that paper appointment generating 50K a month. Paper lead for me right now is generating like $500 a day. So still very, very new. What about you? Where are you at?
We got 6 partners. Lead limit is I'm gonna take a look. I think we got like 60K in MRR that we can claim. That basically means that if we reach our max with what our partners want on the paper lead, then we're gonna be at about 64K in revenue. But transparently, we're not there with the paper lead yet. We're probably generating about $500 a day. Today we've probably generated 400 so far, I think. Probably another lead coming through also during the night. I mean, it's getting better. We were struggling a lot with profitability in the beginning. I was
Yep.
unprofitable for the first partners. I finally cracked the profitability. And right now, this last week, so from the 12th, our profit has been 64%, which is solid. Not a lot though. We're still not spending enough. And me and Edwin were talking about this. I need to increase the the daily ad spend, but we're also facing cash flow issues. The reason why I can't spend more on ads is because we don't have the cash flow to do that. And the biggest thing that's been helping with that is the finance overview, which is basically calculating the daily cash balance, all that stuff. Oof, that's been a game changer. Thank you for sharing that to me, Edwin, a while
Let's
back.
talk about that, man. Do
Dude,
you
it's
want to share
so
what that
important.
is all about, or do you want me to go through it?
100%, I can share it. So, a daily cash balance. Let me start by saying this. There's a difference between revenue and what you can actually spend in the business. When you're starting out, the only thing that you're looking at is just your bank account. You log into your bank and you see the numbers, and then you kind of do a calculation in your head. How much can I spend? What kind of expenses do I have? But real businesses, they calculate long-term and short-term cash balance. And a cash balance is basically what amount of money you can spend. So it's basically what you have minus all of the debt, minus all of the expenses in the time frame that you want to calculate, and that is going to give you your cash balance. So we have a long-term and a short-term cash balance. The short-term is just what we have available, what's incoming in the next 15 days, minus all of the expenses in the next 15 days. And so that gives us our short-term cash balance. The long-term cash balance is everything that you owe to partners. So that means if you're taking PIFs, if you're taking prepaid appointments, if you are charging up front for your partners, that's not your money until you've actually delivered on that. And so if you get a dispute, if you get a refund for appointments, you have to have that money available, and that's not money that you can afford to lose. That needs to stay in the business until you have delivered. Now that's money that you can use as yours, basically. And that's when you actually make it as revenue. So the difference between the cash balance is what you have available. The revenue, call it like a daily P&L, a daily revenue, which I've been struggling a little bit to understand, and I need to be more consistent with it. Today, I'm filling it out. And it's basically where you see how much you're making per day. And the actual revenue is not when you sell, it's not when you get the cash, it's when you deliver on that cash, so it's yours and no one can take it back.
Yep.
That's been so huge. You hear big companies talk about this. Elon Musk, when he was building, I think it was Tesla, they were always talking, how can we get cash balance positive? We're not cash balance positive. How do we become positive? You can run a business and have a lot of money in the bank, but you can still be unprofitable on the cash balance side. And as an example, Edwin, you've been unprofitable. I went from being 32,000 minus one time to being breaking even, and that took about 20 days, a little bit more. And so when you start tracking it, you realize that you are running business the wrong way. But then when you fix it, oof, it's a game changer. It is a game changer.
For sure. Yeah, no, you said some really good things there. And just to point out, that means you've profited 30K in 20 days, Jim, which is 1.5K a day. So that's really impressive from your side. But with that,
Thank you.
basically, this is one of those things that I've been doing for quite a while. So basically, funny backstory, if you've seen my channel before, you know that I basically scaled up to 500K a month at one point with a business partner of mine. We literally had a team of 49 people, and we did that in the I went from 50K a month to 500K a month in a matter of 4 months. The not sexy part about that story is that we spent 600K. So we made 500K, we lost, and we spent 100K more than we actually made. And that ended up with me being over 100K in debt. And that's when my dad, who he's not a super big business owner, but he's done some small business in the past. He's like, "What's your cash balance?" I'm like, "Oh, my bank account is 70K, but I need to pay payroll of like 180K tomorrow, whatever." And he's like, "No, like your cash balance." And I don't know what it is. So he's like, "You don't know what a cash balance is? I thought you were running a business that was doing millions a year." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a bank account. What do you mean?" And he had no context on the business. So he just assumed that I knew what that was because everybody who's done real business who's like older than 40 should know what this is. And
Yeah.
we youngsters should know, but nobody teaches us this stuff. They just teach us about how to post our Stripe screenshots. So
Yeah.
he he sits down with me at the kitchen table, pulls up his laptop, makes a Google spreadsheet cash balance with me, and explains exactly how it works. So I've done it for 9 months now, and it's one of those things that whenever I meet a friend of mine, like you in the past, where I explain what it is, it sounds like, yeah, I should do it. I don't know, like not too
But
excited
it's
about
so
doing it.
important.
When you've done it every day for a month, you're never gonna stop doing it
Yeah.
because
It
it
is
changes how you
it
operate
gives you
business.
calmness. It gives you,
Yeah,
when you fill that out, you know exactly what's going on in the business,
yeah.
and you just have so much clarity on what you need to do. It is, oh, it's so good. If you're not doing it, even if you're like at $5,000 a month, even if you're like two, even if you're
I
at
would do it with my
zero,
first dollar. Yeah, yeah, everything.
100%. The first thing that you're doing when you open up your business, cash balance. Boom.
Yes.
That's gonna give you all of the context.
And I
Um,
know we're yapping a lot on this point, but it's because it's so
it
important.
is
I
so
said,
important.
me and Jim had a reflection. We should probably make a video with our reflections, but we made
We
a
should.
reflection video, or we made a reflection call of like our biggest learning lessons 2025. And my number one biggest lesson was track your finances. It was the number one thing because if I would have done that, I would have saved 100K worth of debt that I got at the age of 16, which is fucking brutal. And I don't know how
Yeah.
anybody can ever be that bad at business because literally the homeless guy is richer than me at that time just because I didn't have a cash balance, right? So that's that.
Important.
Now, on
Important.
top of a cash balance, the other thing you need that Jim briefly touched on is a P&L. Basically, a P&L. There's two types of P&Ls. I'd say there's the bookkeeping ones, and that most people know about that have gone to business school and so on. And then there's what I would say a day-to-day P&L. And this is the one that you can make in a spreadsheet that I would do in a daily P&L. And this is something that you look at yourself, that you can have your EA do if you're above 30K a month. If you're below 30K a month, do it yourself. And it's basically you put in, here's what we actually earned, not what we cash collected, not how much we sold, but what do we actually deliver on today.
Yeah.
So if you charge per appointment, but you charge 10 appointments at a time, and you delivered 3 appointments, you actually made 3 appointments worth of revenue and not whatever you sold in appointments today. And then you put your expenses. So take your monthly team expenses divided by 30. So if you have team costing 10K a month, you put $300 a day. And basically you do that on both sides and you see your actual profit. And then you get to see that the daily cash balance and P&L might change day to day and be different, but on a long enough time horizon, they're always going to follow each other. And you can predict what the daily cash balance is going to look like based on the P&L. So those two is a non-negotiable that everybody needs to track.
100%. Yeah, that's sick.
I
Cool.
think we hammered down that point enough.
Yeah, I think hopefully people start doing this. We'll see.
For sure. So what we talked about where we're at with the pay-per-lead model now. Now let's talk about some updates from this last week. Do you want to start? What happened in the last 7 days?
Sure. We actually had a pretty good week. I think we
Yeah.
signed like 4 partners. No,
Is
yeah,
that
we
did you
signed
cash collect on all of those?
yeah, we signed 3, signed credit card on file,
Good.
2 payments. We're waiting on 1. There's this really big company. I think I'm speaking with the marketing director. I thought he was the owner, but now I realize he's not.
Sometimes you
Um,
don't find out until too late.
yeah, and this guy's waiting on the budget. So he says, "I want to sign with you. Really good company, like perfect fit. They're in California. They do the exact products that we want to be doing. Yeah, they want to get started. So that we're waiting for that. We'll see. We'll see if he signs. I'm not gonna assume it yet. But yeah, we had a pretty good week. So updates from this week. Signed a lot of partners. We became profitable. So that was last Sunday. What we
You
spoke
were
about.
very profitable.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that was on my mind for this week was just I need to become profitable on the pay per lead side. Otherwise, it's not gonna be scalable. And so we created ads, changed the structure, did a new landing page. Worked out pretty good. Um, Worked out pretty good. Still not enough data though, so we need to just get some more data, spend some more, and yeah, be able to see what the actual stats are going to be like. But that's pretty much the update. I mean, we started doing a bunch of more outreach. What we need to do is I need to call more leads. Next week, my focus is gonna be just going through all of the leads B2B we've ever generated and just ripping all of them. I'm gonna be stepping in and going crazy on those because I did like 2 hours of calling this week, closed 1 client same day as I did the calling. So that means that if I call 1 or 2 hours, I can probably sign a client. So I should just be calling 8 hours a day, signing 4 clients a day until I can't. But then the constraints that I have right now with cash flow, with all that, is going to be solved by me doing that.
Are you
Yeah.
asking a personal question here? Are you calling old leads or cold calling or calling leads in the pipeline, new leads? What are you calling
I'm calling leads that came in from our pay per appointment ads
in the
and pitching
last
them.
6 months or so, or what?
Yeah, last 6 months. All of the good leads. So I basically took a sheet, went through all of I didn't do a sheet, but I did a CSV. Took all of the good leads. Looked at
How
the
do you know if they're
emails,
good?
looked at the emails, the revenue, their business name, did research, and I took a list of only the good ones.
That's really good. I like that. Let me write that down.
Because then I have he's kind of off right now, but my setter, he's ripping everyone, and then I'm just doing those select people that I know are good people that I want to work with.
I
So
think that's fire.
such
Good.
high leverage. Um,
And then
yeah, that's pretty much the update.
updates for me this week is number one, we completely switched our B2C ad concept. And just for context, like I've spent probably $5 million on ads on a specific type of ad, which is in the remodeling industry. You say an ad that says, we're looking for 5 outdated bathrooms to remodel at a special discounted rate in return for before and after pictures. And that gives so many low quality leads, it's insane.
Yeah,
But it gives such cheap leads that it's almost like a drug. You don't want to switch away from it when you started because you see your cost per lead go through the roof and you build your whole business around those cheap leads. And then you realize yourself having hired 10 times as many appointment setters as you should, having a 70% cancellation rate on your appointments, a 10% closing rate, and so on. Because what you realize is that when you do low quality leads, the only number that goes down is not just your lead scheduling ratio, but usually the leads that do come in that do schedule, they're still lower quality. So they're still gonna have a lower show up rate, a lower close rate, a lower average ticket value, and so on. So that's why usually you can have a higher cost per booked appointment on higher quality ads that attract higher quality customers, but you're still gonna get a lower CAC, and CAC is all you should focus on, cost to acquire a customer. So we did a complete 180 on our ads, which that might not sound like a big thing, but like we're spending 300K a
It
month,
is, yeah.
and it's huge because that means like we're switching everything. We gotta inform all the partners, and if we're not profitable on this now, we're both us and our partners are losing money daily. Secondly, we put a pause on My Closer. So, My Closer has been with me for 2 months. For the last year and a half, I've had a closer. The last year and a half straight. At our biggest, we had 8 closers. At our smallest, we had one closer. And now, for the first time ever this week, literally starting today, I'm gonna be the only closer with the company. I'm going back into the weeds because I should be the one closing on a paper lead offer, and it's not really worth off focusing on the paper appointment and closing for that. So put a pause on him, which feels really weird for me to be back in sales because I've been a sales manager for a year and a half. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm excited about it because I know I'm good at sales. I know I'm gonna learn, iterate faster, and so on, and keep more profit. I also signed 2 partners, but unfortunately both were on paper appointment. So good for cash flow where we collected 10K in new cash there, but that means we're also delaying how fast we can ramp that offer down. I'm not complaining about it though, because that offer is completely outsourced now. Then we turned off our B2B ads to focus on the B2C changes we're doing now with new landing page, new ads, new whole structure. That's pretty much that. Now,
Sick.
do you want to go about your lessons or do you have any questions on that, by the way?
No, I feel like I already know all of it
Yeah,
because
we talk
we've
about
been
it
speaking.
daily.
Yeah, we've been speaking about it a lot.
For
But
sure. One thing I want to say on that is if you have anybody in your life, if you're watching this, that you feel like is really aligned with you on something, whether it's hitting the gym, whether it's working on a business, whatever, especially if it's working on a business where you guys are almost like business partners, where you always share your ideas together and so on, but you work in 2 separate businesses. I would challenge you to do what me and Jim does, which is like we meet every day at a select time. We've been inconsistent with it this month. But last month we were really consistent with it, and we're gonna get back to it, which is 7:30 each morning. We meet and we just work together for the next three hours. We ask each other if we need any help with anything, and the most important thing is that we're just there. And
yeah,
you being there with your camera on, being forced to work, makes it so that you can't watch social media. You can't start fucking around. You can't speak to your friends or family or whatever. You can't sleep in because you need to be on that fucking call. So that's something that really helped me. I don't know how you feel about it, Jim, but definitely something I want to continue doing this year.
100%. No, I feel like it's great. And also, even if you're not like, even if you're not business partners, it's like you have the pros of being business partners,
But not the cons.
but not the cons. It is so good, and we are like we're running the same business. It is
Yeah.
literally the same. It
We
is.
run the same ads, so we copy
It,
each other's ads. It's that close.
yeah, we have the like our team knows each other. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's pretty insane.
And
But yeah,
probably the biggest pro that we never want to say because we have too big of an ego, but it's really true, is that it becomes more fun. Like business
yeah,
becomes so much more fun when you do it with somebody else.
I agree. And also the competition of like if Edwin brings down his cost per lead, if I sign more clients than Edwin, then he's gonna get a fire under his ass to sign more. And it's just yeah, it's
I
really
don't think it's a coincidence that we have the same amount of partners. It's not a coincidence whatsoever.
no, we do the we do the same work. That's
Right.
why, yeah.
Exactly. And when one of us starts working harder, the other one steps up.
Yeah, I
So
like
I 100% agree on that one. Now, what is the top of mind things for you?
the top of mind things
You,
is I've had like
sorry, I
a
just realized, sorry to cut you off. Something we should add to the
what
agendas of these calls.
what
Constraint right now. What is the
I
constraint we're
like
going to
that.
focus on the next week?
And how are we gonna fix it? I like that.
What's the constraint right now for the next week? You answer it first.
For
I
me,
think
cash
you
flow.
already touched on it somewhat, but
Cash flow.
cash flow and how will you solve that?
By signing more partners and by increasing the spend to make money faster.
Good. Let's do constraints and focuses for next week.
Yeah. I think yeah, the constraint is cash flow. I feel like I'm on the verge of having that constraint solved. It's like what you said today with sometimes you solve the constraint and you're just waiting for the seed to like
Grow. Yeah.
to for the seed to grow. I feel like I've already solved it. The partners I have right now, I am profitable. I just need to ramp up the spend and scale the ad spend. And
Yeah.
that is the only thing that's kind of stopping. And
That is a great point worth
yeah,
touching on. Sometimes you solve the constraint and you hear so much content and so many thoughts to yourself in your head about solve the constraint, solve the constraint. So you solve it, you don't give it time to actually rest and sit there and grow. So it's almost like you plant the seed at the exact right spot, you water it. 10 seconds later, you're like, that was the wrong spot because it hasn't grown. And you replant it. Of course, it's not going to grow. So sometimes you just need to solve it, know that you genuinely did everything you could, and then focus on the next thing. Even though it might not be the number one thing, just let the thing sit until it's solved. Like right now for you, that is just let the partners generate cash, put that cash back into the ads until you reach your max lead limit.
yeah,
Because your constraint is solved, even though it hasn't showed for a few days.
yeah.
So that's a great point. Continue though. Just wanted to point that out.
Yes, one thing. So yeah, constraint, cash flow. I'm gonna do a lot of calling. So calling all leads. I mean, if I just sign 3 clients, like it is gonna make things so easy, and I'm gonna definitely be able to do that. I've probably called a 30th of all of the leads I have, and I've already signed 1 client from it, and I know that I can push a couple of more people through the door. That's not gonna be a problem. So cash flow, I'm really confident in how I'm going to solve that. Calling more leads or calling leads, selling them. We also got scaling the ad spend. Profitability is good, so just maintaining that, making sure that we always create new ads. So ads don't fatigue, all that stuff. Yeah, constraint, that's the focus. I feel like it's gonna be a very sales heavy focus now, next week, the week after, a lot of sales. We need to get the
Hell yeah.
B2B ads ramped as well, so we can really go crazy on sales.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you
I'll
feel like your
say
constraint is?
I hate to say this, and I feel like this is the first time I say this in my life, but I feel like Jim is at 1 week ahead of me right now, in the paper lead where he is. I what I have as an advantage right now is that I have cash flow from the paper appointment,
Yeah.
right, which really helps me. And the reason I have that, but Jim doesn't, is because I already had an existing team of a functioning closer, functioning, etc., functioning ISA team of functioning
My shit
everything.
was breaking.
Exactly. And mine was breaking when I was trying to scale it. But what I realized was that when I cut the fat and I just let it maintain, it was profitable. So that generated me cash, which is good. So cash flow is a constraint, but it's not the main constraint, right? It's way slower than it should have been and have been, where I think we have less than 20K in short-term cash balance. So it is really tight, based on what it should be. But that's because December we broke even. This month, we've spent money on paper lead without making a return, and our paper appointment has been super slow because we made a way too drastic change on our ads without thinking through it.
Yeah.
So, to answer the question of what my constraint is, it is also the constraint. I like to always just ask yourself, why can't you just do more of what works? And the reason I can't do more of what works is because we were unprofitable on our paper lead. And that's why I'm saying you're 1 week ahead of me, because you fixed that last week or this week that just went by. You fixed the profitability. I was being too big of a pussy, sorry for being explicit, to actually move on it fast enough. I started doing some split tests on some new ads, but I wasn't fast enough to make that change. So therefore, you made that change a week ago fully with all of your ads. Now you're hyper profitable. I realized, okay, I need to make this fucking change before it's too late, and I made that change. Finish today. Start making this change on Friday, because we have a lot of ads, but we're also moving. So I feel like I'm gonna let this week sit where I'm gonna be very focused on B2C to make sure that we actually are super profitable. Because if we're profitable, I can check my lead limit, but I think it's like, yeah, our hypothetical max revenue that we can hit with our partners right now is, ooh, I like this. It's 65,000 a month. So
That's
that's what we
good.
can, yeah, that's
That's
what we
really
can
good.
hit on paper lead. And keep in mind 50% gross profit on that because we have to cover the ad spend on that, right? But that's what we can hit. Plus, we're gonna be able to scale those if we get profitable with high quality leads. So that's what I'm gonna focus on in the morning side of my day. Then it's when I have fixed that, and what I will do in the second half of the day is 100% gonna be calling leads. Just like Jim said, cash flow is still a constraint, and we need to get our B2B ads running. Both of us are launching our B2B ads this week, but until we have the B2B ads launched, it's just about calling the high quality leads and actually selling as many of those as possible. And our commitment that by the end of this week, both me and Jim will have our new B2B ads live. What else? We're gonna have spent a minimum of 10 hours live calling leads. Like live calling. We should put a timer that is ongoing for the whole week that we need to call 10
That's
hours.
calling. That's
Yeah.
calling. Really.
Not talking about calling,
Yeah.
not anything else, just calling. That's 2 hours a day, 5 days. Yeah, that's good. That's what I would say. And for me, my personal goal is get profitable on pay-per-lead.
Nice. That's a good goal.
Yeah, those are the
Really
three
good
things I
goal.
want to make sure I achieve this week. Let's talk about lessons and what's top of mind for you. What have you learned this week?
I've actually learned a lot about training up a new team member. I had a new executive assistant jump in with me.
Can we tell the
She's
story about
amazing.
where she's from? It's so funny.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll, I'll share it. It's my girlfriend is also my executive assistant, which is funny. She's from Colombia and she's still in university. And she's a very social girl and she knows a lot of people that all are super jealous of her job. And she's been working with me for a year and a month now. So she knows like 15 people who know wants to get a job like hers. So she's referred like 5 to 6 executive assistants to people in the agency space that I know about. Even some people that I don't know anymore that she's referred executive assistants to. And then those executive assistants have referred more people. So there's like 10 people in the agency space who have a Colombian 20-year-old executive assistant. And one of them, probably the best one of them all, after my year, obviously, is the one that you now have. So share more on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much ramping up a team member from scratch. We're talking, she doesn't know anything about the space, which can be a pro and a con.
She doesn't know
I feel
anything about business overall,
no,
not even business
she's
space.
new to business. I think it's been a learning lesson for me, like really making things structured and easy. It's very easy to just assume that people know things, especially when you're teaching them up from scratch. And
Yeah.
most people they don't want to build people up from scratch, which I totally understand. But I feel like the executive assistant is like the most high leverage role. And this person, my executive assistant, she's amazing. Like she truly is even though she's not the best technically yet on like make.com, how to do these things, how the business actually operates, all that stuff, which she's going to be, she has the personality of an extremely good executive assistant. So that's been a learning lesson for me. How do you train someone up efficiently, teaching them and building them up from scratch without wasting time on dumb stuff? And so that's been a big learning lesson for me. Just like training up a team member completely from scratch. It's always so good to, yeah, to kind of go through a boot camp again and just, yeah, making sure that everyone knows what they should be doing and just remaking processes and all that stuff. That's been one big learning lesson. Another one, I would say,
You want to share one each?
yeah, you
One at a
go.
time? Yeah,
Yeah.
I got one. This isn't a learning lesson, but I'd say it is somewhat, which is it's simple, but it's lovable. If you haven't used Lovable yet, go into it. I've heard things about it, but this was the first week where I actually went all in and started using Lovable, and not just trying it, but relying on it. And holy shit, Lovable is an AI website creator where I genuinely believe that you can make a landing page, a website, a tracking system that is better than a Google Sheet that you spend a year building, a Go High Level
Yeah.
landing page you spend a month building
Yeah.
in 15 minutes. It is so good. And it's been buggy. I tried it when it first got famous like a year ago. And it's been buggy and it's had problems, but now it is genuinely so good. I don't know more than one bug. Maybe if you spend 5 hours on it, you'll probably find two bugs. Genuinely. It's so good. It's so effective. It has thought about everything there is. And it
It is
just
extremely good.
elevate your work. It's like people can't live without ChatGPT anymore, and they've forgotten how it was before ChatGPT came. That's how I'm gonna feel about Lovable. It
Yeah.
elevates your work so much. If you have heard about it but not actually pulled the trigger,
Try
please
it. Try it.
Yes, it's gonna change
Try
your
for
life.
yourself. It is extremely good.
And it has so many more use cases than building a landing page. You can build tracking, you can build systems, you can build automations, you can build spreadsheets, you can build everything on it. So
It
trust me,
is,
do
yeah,
it.
it is extremely good.
Yeah. Do you want to share one?
Yeah, I have another one, which is just completing tasks to 110% instead of 99. I
Yes.
I had a bunch of systems that we built 99% and I had to go back into the systems like 10 times to fix them. It was just it was just so easy to fix those things before, but I just decided to, oh no, let me just get this live. And I decided to not do it 110%, but then that last bit just bites you in the ass. So as an example,
It's
yeah, the make automations that we have, they weren't pulling in all of the leads. And so when I go into the lead database, I see leads that are really good leads that we haven't sent to our partner, which since we cover the ad spend, we spend money to get the leads to then send them to the partner, but they never get sent to the partner. It's just because of the automation. It's just so bad, which is fixed.
I want to say on that it's the balance. But there's so many dichotomies to manage in business that you can there's no right answer to it. It's just balance. One of them I'm gonna touch on in a minute, which is like doing the work versus delegating, like solve the constraints yourself versus delegating. Work is one
Yeah.
of those dichotomies. One of them that you just said is speed of execution and paying attention to the details. Those two contradict each other, but both are necessary. It's kind of like you need to sacrifice the short term for the long term, but you also can't just never leave because then you're gonna die wishing that you would have done your life differently. They contradict each other, but both are true. And that's with a lot of stuff in life where it takes, at least for me, it's taken a long time to realize how life isn't black and white. People say both sides of the spectrum, like it's true or it's not true, but there's always a balance between those two. And the one you just said is so true. You can't go 100%, get it done, launch it ASAP, but you can't also spend 10 hours on something that should take one because you want to avoid every single mistake.
Yeah.
And there's no right answer.
It's I feel like you just get good of it
Yeah,
after a while. Yeah.
exactly. And you need to learn how to find yourself. Am I shortcutting this? Am I spending more time than I should? For example, if you're making a website, you probably shouldn't think too much about the color grades. But if you're making an automation, you should definitely put through a test lead. What nobody does. Please do. Not just once, but a few times. You're gonna thank yourself for doing it because it always breaks the first time.
Yeah. So true.
Good one.
Sick. That was my biggest learning lessons. Do you have another one?
Okay. I have a few more. Um, this one is obvious too, and a simple one, but copy what works. It's something everybody
Mm,
knows, but it's something worth repeating, which is that good art is copy, great art is steal. I got this from Steve Jobs, maybe Pablo. No, what's his name?
Pablo
Pablo
Escobar.
Picasso. Pablo Picasso.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Picasso. Yeah. Anyways,
No
it's one
idea.
of those two people who said it, but good artists copy, great artists steal. And what that means is like just I'm gonna be really transparent on this video. This week, me and Jim said, fuck trying to be smart and let's just copy the biggest people in our industry. So the biggest people in our industry are two. Homebody that we spoke about in the beginning and Angie. One of them is like more close to what we do, more profitable, more of like what we want to become. The other one has more data because they're a 2 billion a year company. They're huge. So it's worth taking stuff from both of them. And those two companies have everything solved. Every single question we're asking ourselves, they've already answered. But we keep asking ourselves those questions rather than just being like, what does Homebody do? Let's not think about it. Let's just take their choice. Let's replicate their business to 100%. And then when we're making $190 million in enterprise value and we're making 30% gross profits at 100 million a year, then let's think about, maybe that isn't the
Yeah.
best color on the landing page, right? Like just copy what works, steal what works, instead of trying to take every decision yourself. If you get a mentor, like I have a man called Cale Owen, who is a really successful entrepreneur, as an advisor in my business. And I took a decision very early on that if he says something, I'm just gonna fucking listen blindly, and then I can reevaluate after. And a lot of people would say that that's wrong, but I believe that if somebody's ahead of you, if somebody's already answered questions you're asking yourself, first copy, then you iterate. Replicate before you iterate. So simple, but nobody does.
So good. That was yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I have another one.
Tell me.
This is not a learning lesson. This is just a top of mind kind of thing that I want to talk to you about because I think you struggle with it equally as much as me.
Tell
And
me.
I think we're a bit different on the spectrum here.
Ooh,
The
good
balance
shit.
between doing the work and delegating. Not delegating the stuff that is the constraint more than doing it yourself to get it done fast. On the other side, everything is a constraint. And if you just do everything yourself, you're never gonna scale truly far. If you look at people like Alex Hormozy, Elon Musk, and so on, they continue to repeat. You're not ever going to be the best at everything. You're going to be the best at one thing, but you're always going to be able to find somebody else who can be better at one of the things you do. So find people who are truly great and then delegate to them. And if you don't feel confident, you either need to switch the person or you need to get better at delegating or teach them their skill more. On the other side, it's also the thing of like, I, you said a good analogy to me, which is like, I was I would have profited an extra $1,000 a day if I would have gotten my paper lead ads, my new ads live faster. And I was gonna wait 2 days for my media buyer to do it because she doesn't work Saturdays and Sundays. And you told me it's worth you losing 2K worth of profit versus doing it yourself. And I said no, it's not. So I did it myself. And then it took 8 hours. So that took the whole day today, pretty much like 10 hours of deep work. And then I'm asking myself, was it worth doing? Because it saved me probably 2K and I've already gotten some leads from it. And I saved days on it. On the other side, what could I have done with this day today? But on the other side, how much did I learn from doing that? I made new ads, I made new copies, I made new creatives while making the process. It's a really hard balance to find between doing the work and delegating. And I feel like that I have delegated too much because I still think in the mindset of I'm doing 500K a month, which I'm not anymore. I'm doing 100K a month. I'm not doing 500. I'm doing a fifth of that. But you are not delegating enough. You're still in the mindset of I got to do everything myself. If I want it to
Yeah.
end right, I need to do it myself.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like sometimes you make a mistake, and instead of like pushing through that mistake and learning from it, you get not trauma, that's the wrong word, but you get like you don't want to make that same mistake again. I've had a
Permanent
bunch
change in
of
behavior.
yeah. That is something I'm aware of it, which is good. I'm delegating more, which I like, but I'm still in the mindset of if I want to create a winning ad, I'm gonna step in and fucking go into CapCut and create an ad and then show my team how it's done. Which I think can be good sometimes, but in reality, my team should be creating more winning ads than I should. I shouldn't be the
Yeah.
one creating winning ads. My team should learn creating winning ads so they can start doing that. Um, I feel like I feel like I'm getting better at it slowly, but it's just delegating. I mean, yeah, it's just I think what I missed in the beginning was I didn't meet with my team members enough. I assigned a project and then I just reviewed it over Loom. And then if it didn't get done right, I just went in and fixed the things. Instead, what you should do is you should put the 100% responsibility on that person, but you should take the ownership. I think there's a billionaire. Oh, maybe his company is valued at 1 billion. I can't remember who it is, but he says instead of having people be responsible of certain tasks, you should be responsible for getting them done, and then you have a team behind you that executes. So I should be the one making sure that the project gets done, but my team is the people that executes on it. And then when you have a marketing director and marketing manager, they should make sure that the cost per lead is good. That's not the media buyers. The media buyers is helping that person, the marketing director, bringing down the cost per lead. And so it's kind of like ownership and responsibility. It is my ownership that it gets done, but it's their responsibilities to do the things. And I have done it the other way. I've had the responsibility of getting it done while I kind of tried to put the ownership on them. Like, hey, this should be done. You should do this. This is your KPIs, but it should be the other way. These are my KPIs. Here's your responsibilities. And so that's a big shift that I've had now, which I've seen myself doing wrong in the past. And so that has helped me a lot. And most of this comes from you, from when I was in the office, and I saw how you were meeting with your team it was so different from what I was doing. I was just meeting with people, checking in, and like not doing enough. But you join the team calls or meetings with your team, and you get things done with them. And I also, on top of that, same day, I saw a video from Alex Ramosi, and he was like, he joined in a call with a new team member, and they got some things done in like 5 hours. And then in the end of that call, he
The
said,
new
"What's
market,
next?"
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, something about that, and that was I just, I was like, oh wow, I'm managing the wrong way. I'm a bad leader. So now I want to do more Zoom calls, focusing on what needs to get done. I take the ownership of all of the metrics in the business until I have directors. I take ownership of every single metric, but the responsibility of doing the other things is mine until I've delegated it, if that makes sense.
Can I challenge you on that?
Yeah.
I think you're 90% right, and I agree with that mostly. I would add a caveat though, which is
Tell me.
that I think yes, you're the owner of it, but your team should not know that. And I'm a big believer in transparency, but here's one of the things where I would prefer not being 100% transparent with my team, where one of our core values is be the CEO of your own role.
Mm,
And I would tell my team, you are the owner of this. Look, you're not the owner of making this task done. You're the owner of keeping, if you're a marketing guy, you're the owner of keeping the cost per lead under $40. If you're a sales guy, you're the owner of getting 12 sales a month in. But you know by the back of your head that, just like you said, Jim, I'm the owner of this. But when you say that they are the owner, they're gonna think like the owner. They're gonna execute like the owner. When they come to you to ask for a question, if you think they're the responsible, but I'm the owner, what you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna be like, "Hey, here's the answer." But if you think they're the owner, but I'm also the owner for, like, it's almost like there's teachers, but the teachers only goes to the principal if the teacher can't fix it, right?
yeah.
And it's like they need to think I'm the owner, so they need to come to you like, we have this problem for me to be able to execute on $20 per lead as my target this month, rather than for me to be able to execute on this one task assigned to me. So, Jim, I'll say this with love. I'm sorry for putting this out there, but
No,
I
yeah, I'm
think
good.
the way that you said that is good enough for you to get to like 100K a month. But if you keep thinking like that, where it's like you delegate the responsibility, but you keep the ownership, that's gonna cap you at 100K a month. Because I think that when there's this, everybody knows about this time, it's called the swamp, where you don't have enough profit to get real directors, but you also don't have the bandwidth to be able to manage everybody's ownership, and you try to like tell everybody exactly what to do, and they do the task, but you need to manage the task like them while them doing the task, but you can't hire directors yet. That's a point where they need to start not just owning the responsibility or the work, but also owning the outcome. But
Mm.
you secretly, as I said in the beginning, you in your head know that, okay, I'm the owner of keeping the cost per lead down. But I'm gonna tell them that they are, so that they think like the owner.
Mm.
Okay?
I like
What
that.
do you think about
It's
that?
yeah, I like that. I definitely like that. I mean, they should feel, yeah, they should feel like they have ownership of that KPI.
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. The way you phrased this was way better. It is, in reality, it is always my responsibility and my ownership, but we need to create the illusion
the
that it's
perception.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the perception that it's theirs. And so if the KPI is not met, and how, why, when, is that it?
I see what
Wait.
you're saying. Yeah,
Okay,
this is
wait.
a
Let me slow
Hormozy
down.
framework.
Yeah,
Hormozy
but
says the star of when somebody hasn't done something. It's
right.
you didn't know that you needed to do it. You didn't know what to do. You didn't know when to do it. You didn't know why to do it,
Yeah.
or you didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, the task or the KPI needs to be delegated at an extreme level. Like exactly
Yes.
how to fix it, when it needs to be fixed, yeah, how to fix it, all of these things needs to be covered. When they know all of these things, then if they're not meeting that KPI within a set period of time, then it's still my fault for either hiring the wrong person or not doing enough training. But in reality, we want to create the perception of that it's their fault because they should take ownership of that. That's their role. I completely agree with you. I think that was a good thing that you said, and I'm gonna start thinking more like that. That is 100% true.
I
I
love
think
that.
putting responsibility on people is really good.
On that
Yeah.
point, Here's what I would tell you. Anybody who's watching this can also get value from this, but this is what I would tell you personally, Jim. How I want you to think about it is like, I'd see there's three pillars. First of all, you need to get the right people in the first place to be able to delegate. Like, let me pre-frame this. If you ever think to yourself, I want to delegate, but I need this to be done right. We've all thought that. Yeah, I know I should delegate, but this really needs to be done right, so I'm gonna do it myself. If you ever think that, there's three questions you need to ask yourself, or three checkboxes to tick. Number one, do I have the right person in the first place? Is John even the right person to be doing this task? Do I have the right media buyer? Do I have the right salesperson? The second question is, have I given them the right training? And here's where I think most people mess up. I think this is the most common one. It's like John is great and John could crush it. And you do give him good instructions and everything, but you just haven't given him the training because every time it's gotten hard, you've always taught him. Jim steps in. Jim gets this, you know? So he knows that, okay, I'll start and I'll do whatever he tells me, but whenever it's important, he does it. So that's the second one. Have you really genuinely taught him how to do it well enough? And if you haven't, you can be like, hey, here's what I was gonna do, but I realized instead of me doing it, I want you to do it, but do it with me in front of me. You share your screen, you do it, I guide you through it. But you shouldn't be the one sharing your screen in front of them because then they're not doing it. They need to share their screen and you need to make them do it in front of you while you're helping them. So, did you hire the right person in the first place? Have you genuinely taught them what they need to know? And then the third, which I would say is the one I struggle with the most. If I can say myself, I think I am relatively skilled at finding the right people and training them. But the one I struggle with the most, the third pillar that can fail, you kind of touched on it, which is vague instructions. You can have the best person with the best training, but if you don't show clearly enough what you need to get done, it's not going to be done right. Like if you say I need a new landing page, they're not going to do it on the deadline you want, the way you want, where you want it, and so on, because they don't even know why you need a new landing page, what you want it to look like, and
Yeah.
so on. So what
This
I
is
like
sauce, by the way. Sorry to cut you off.
no, you get
DOD, definition of done.
yeah,
Implementing that on every
I'll
single
touch on that
task.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what's the definition of this project being done? That is such a game changer for delegating. It is so
Yes.
good.
100%. When I delegate, I have this framework I've written down on my whiteboard that I think you guys could also write down, and you, Jim, which is I need to, first of all, set a deadline. Want this done. Here's the deadline. Secondly, here's what I want done. Add the DOD. DOD, as Jim said, is definition of done. When do I officially say that this is a done project where we leave it, it's checked off on your to-do list, and you don't have to worry about it again? You need to have that in writing. Not just say, but the
That needs to be
definition of
all the
done.
details. Like that needs to
Exactly.
be this automation is working. We're sending through leads. We've gotten the first lead without doing this, without sending through a manual lead. It should be easy to use. Everyone on the team should be on board. Like
Exactly.
all of those things should be checked, and then it's marked done.
Exactly. So, deadline, outcome, definition of done, instructions on if there's anything specifically you want done in it. So, like, let me clarify on that one. Sometimes you might have a project where you're like, I don't care how you do it, just get it done. Other times it might be like, if you need to communicate something with a partner, it's not always like, I just need it to get done. If you tell your PSM something, you might need to instruct them on how you want it done. Like, I need you to make sure you have a friendly tone because he's in a really good state right now. You don't want to mess him up. So you give any special instructions on how you want it done. That's the four pillars I think about. Deadline, what you want, the definition of done, and then any special instructions.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Sick. Okay, I think we've been running for a long time. My collarbone hurts like crazy. I need to go take some pain meds pretty soon.
you good.
Um,
I got
let's go
some more
into
things. Can I quickly run through them?
let's do it.
Sweet.
Let's do.
I'll be quick. So number one, this one is so important. Make people focus on the right stuff. When you have a team, you easily make them focus on the wrong stuff just because you feel like you can use them for anything. I do this way too much with my EA, and I make her focus on the wrong stuff because I feel like she can do anything. So I tell her like, "Hey, I want you to reorganize my bookmark tabs." When she could really just learn how to make ads, and then whenever she has free time, she can make ads, which is the highest leverage thing in a pay-per-lead business that there is. So like, I got this from you actually. I think your EA this week has provided more value than mine. But I said it's love. Mine is way more trained, way more skilled, knows way more about our business than yours does. Just because mine has been here for a year, yours just started, and so on. But I still feel like yours probably provided more value than mine because I was not clear enough on what I needed mine to do. So that's a big one. Um, Another one. What do you think about that one before we move on?
I agree.
Good. This one is big. I got this feedback from Kale, so I asked Kale, my advisor. I have a call with him twice a week, and I asked him on one of the calls. We've been working together for a month, twice a week, every week. What is the biggest piece of feedback you have from me? And what he told me is that you're great at coming up with ideas, but you need to get more focused on doing the obvious stuff, the boring stuff, the tedious stuff, and it's not the new stuff. And everybody's heard this one before, but I'm gonna repeat it with enthusiasm. The reason your business isn't big enough is not because you have the wrong model, most likely. Sometimes it is, like we needed to switch from paper appointment to paper lead, but that's not the case most of the time. It's not because you don't have the right sales script. It's not because you don't have the right strategy. It's because you don't focus on the small stuff. It's like, are you calling your leads fast enough? Are you constantly making new ads every single day, 5 ads a day? Are you constantly checking up with your ISAs that they're actually following the script? Are you actually talking to your VA about how she's onboarding the partners so that she's not missing any custom fields? It's those things that make your business grow or not. Because when you do all the basics right, you stop being a basic company. Like thinking about McDonald's, they have the shittiest food ever. Like who fucking likes McDonald's? Why are they big? Because everything works. Their P&L is accurate. They've made sure that they're profitable. They're good at opening locations. They have a fucking good process for hiring a team because they have, I think it's like 1 million people are across the world or something. They have like an insane amount of people now. Somebody
That
looked
is
that up. I'm probably
insane.
wrong. But yeah, they have so many employees and they know how to train them. And I think like their average time to ramp an employee, it's like 30 minutes or something. It's insane. While our average business takes like 9 hours to get somebody around because they're doing all the basic stuff so well. For us, we are focusing on like, bro, what's the next strategy that we're in 10 extra business on? It's like strategies do everything basic right. Any thoughts on that
Mhm.
one before I move on?
So true. I agree.
Hell yeah. Should we leave the questions for next time?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've been speaking for a long time now.
Yeah, we're at exactly at an hour.
Let's do for next week. What are we focusing on? Signing more clients and ramping up B2C ad spend, getting the B2B ads live.
Yes, I got 3 goals for myself. It's have B2B ads live, get 10 hours of live calling done, and make sure that I'm profitable on pay per lead. If I do
Let's
those
go.
3 things, I'm happy.
Sick. I yeah, I have I already mentioned them. Calling leads, I think 10 hours. That sounds great. Getting the B2B ads live, and I need to ramp up my B2C ad spend. I need to have at least doubled my B2C ad spend. At least.
Hell yeah, man.
Sick.
I don't know
Cool.
how you feel, but I love this.
I
We should
like
do
this as
this
well.
every week consistently for the rest of my life. Like this was fun, man.
And then imagine looking back at this when we're at 20 million a year, and then when we decide to go to 100 million, it's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be fun to look back
I
at.
I genuinely feel like this is more valuable than when I try to sit down and do a normal YouTube video and share sauce. Because you get more enthusiasm when you have somebody who gives you live reaction and
Yeah,
live iteration.
I agree.
And
I
it's more
definitely
fun.
agree. Let's continue doing this. I like it.
For sure. Guys, see you on
Sick.
the next one. If you liked it, tell
Boom.
us what you want to see differently in the comments. If you didn't like it, fuck you. No, kidding.
And
See you soon.
if you're following Edvin, follow me. If you're following me, follow Edvin.
Hell yeah. I love
Boom.
that.
Let's go.
And even if we get 0 views on this, we're gonna continue
Still
doing it
worth
because I
it.
think it makes us fucking better. Let's go.
Boom.